Ok, entonces estamos con Tony O Dell de Karate Kid, de Cobra Kai y de muchas otras cosas más que vamos a charlar. Un tipo de California, como los muchachos de Cobra Kai de verdad. Un acuario, como yo, un Aquarius, right? Y un karateca, por lo menos en la pantalla. Su primer rol en televisión fue a los 18 en la serie Chips, con motos, que todos recordaremos. Vamos a preguntarle qué se acuerda de eso.
Sí, muy viejo. You know, it was a great experience. Like I said, I was 18 years old. It was my very first TV role. And you know, the lines were there were only a few lines, but I remember that it was a Halloween episode, and it was an episode where Eric Estrada and his you know, partner were following a van that was trying to get away, and there were two kids that were throwing eggs in the street because it was Halloween, and we were throwing eggs back and forth, and the eggs hit the window of the van, and the van had to stop, and so that's how they caught them, you know, the getaway car. But I was excited because the guy that I was throwing eggs with was a buddy of mine the actor's name was Gary Dubin, and he was in Jaws 2, and I was a big fan of Jaws. Cool. So then next thing I know is I'm throwing eggs with Gary Dubin in the street. So it was a good time, you know.
Screen name. ¿Por qué se puso un nombre artístico irlandés?
Okay, well, when I was 18 years old and I had mi primero agente, my first agent, she said, you know, when you go on auditions, your last name is very, very Italian, and they're going to want to see you for Italian roles.
Right.
But when you walk in the room, you look very, very all-American. So although Odell is Irish, it's a lot more, someone who's Irish is a lot more capable of looking all-American than someone with an Italian name. And she said, if I put you in for an Italian role, they're going to say, oh, great, we can't wait to see him. He's Dell'Aquila. Or in Spanish, it would be Del Aguila.
Right.
But she says, you're going to walk in the room and they're going to say, no, we're looking for a guy like John Travolta or Danny DeVito. So she changed my name. She took the Aquila and put the O in front of the Dell, Tony O Dell.
En 1985 hizo de Trey Sterling en una serie cortita de ciencia ficción llamada Otherworld, en un planeta misterioso que podría ser un universo paralelo. A mí me gustaría saber cómo fue eso y si tuvo ganas de hacer más ciencia ficción.
So, I just would have loved to have done more episodes of that show. We only did 8 episodes. I believe at the time the episodes were costing CBS $1 million per episode. So, but I loved the role. It was fun because this family was a family that fell through a pyramid in Egypt, and we ended up in another dimension. And so every episode we were in a different province of this other dimension.
Yeah.
And so every episode was completely different, you know. So I would have loved to have done more.
Bueno, hablando de Karate Kid, en el 84 participó en los 2 primeros filmes de Karate Kid como el integrante del grupo de Cobra Kai, Jimmy, y me gustaría saber si ya tenía alguna experiencia con artes marciales.
No, I had no martial arts experience. I, you know, was just an actor. My agent put me on, yo tenía una audición por la Karate Kid, and the director, John Appleton, said, well, you know, we were only going to have 4 Cobra Kai. Solo querimos 4 Cobra Kai. But he loved my audition, and he said, I'm going to make you the 5th Cobra Kai. You're only going to have 2 lines, but he said, I'm going to make you the 5th Cobra Kai. And it was, you know, I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to do it, because I thought, okay, I'm not going to have a big part. Maybe it's not going to be that great. And it's one of the best decisions I ever made.
Did you get any karate training?
Well, when we did the film, yes, we had a month of training before we started the film. So I think, I don't know if you can remember, but when we were at the high school, we played a lot of soccer. So we actually had like one of the top soccer guys. I think he worked with Pele. He trained us in the morning from like 9 to 10. And then from 10 in the morning, I think we would have motorcycle class. and we would drive motorcycles all over the Warner Brothers ranch, just the 5 of us going crazy on the ranch. And then we'd like go have lunch, and then we'd have karate training for like 2 hours a day. So we did all those classes for a month. It was literally like going to camp, you know?
And hanging out with the guys.
Yeah, hanging out with the guys. And
Dice que sí, que tuvieron. Yeah, sorry.
And it was like that for the whole film, because whether we were filming, whether we had scenes that day or not, we still had to show up wherever they were on set and still have karate training every day.
Le quería preguntar a nivel personal, ¿por qué piensa él que la primera trilogía de Karate Kid pegó tanto en la gente? ¿Por qué se volvió un ícono que hoy, pasado 35 años, seguimos hablando de la película?
You know, aside from the fact that el director, the director was John Avildsen. You know, he was a brilliant director. But you know, it's a story about an underdog, and I think underdog stories are, you know, people love the stories about underdogs. You know, you have the football film that Sean Astin did called Rudy. You know, you have the Karate Kid. You know, it's about a kid who's bullied. You know, and I just think people love stories about underdogs, and there was so much heart in the film. It's filled with so much heart, and I just think that that's just something that always holds up, especially when the film is done so incredibly well. You know, like I said, you had John Avildsen, you have the cinematographer, Jimmy Crabe. Phenomenal 80s music. I mean, come on, you got 80s music. Look, I mean, nothing is better than 80s music. So.
Hablando de Karate Kid y de Jimmy era como el miembro menos agresivo de la pandilla. Incluso cuando Chris le manda a Bobby lastimar a Daniel, se lo ve como choqueado. Yo quiero saber si el director le dijo, bueno, vos reaccionás así, estaba en el script, o fue algo que él quiso.
So, you know, when John Avildsen gave me the part, he said, look, you're going to be the tag-along. Y no sé la palabra por tag-along en español. Pero
no, que se suma, that's no word.
But he said, you're going to be the tag-along. He said, you're going to be the wannabe. You know, wow. All these. And the funny thing for me playing that role is, you know, I was the oldest out of all of them. So it was kind of hard for me to go to this place where, you know, they were the ones who were in front, and I was kind of the one who was like the tag along, always trying to get seen and, you know, wanted to be part of the group, you know. I think Rob Garrison, who played Tommy.
Tommy, yeah.
Yeah. Rob was 6 days older than me. You know, unfortunately, Rob is no longer with us, but
I know, yeah.
Rob was 6 days older than me. But other than that, you know, I was 3 or 4 years older than the rest of them. So it was kind of weird to play that part, but that was really how they brought me in.
Hablando de la relación con los otros actores, como Ralph Macchio, me gustaría saber cómo era eso y si se siguió en contacto con Billy Zabka después de las películas, pues yo sé que incluso fueron vecinos un tiempo.
Yes, yeah, and you know, we're like brothers. We're all like brothers. We talk often. I talk to Ron Thomas, who plays Bobby. We speak often. Chad lives in Palm Springs. Haven't talked to him really that much recently, but you know, Billy, I text him all the time, and Ralph, I see, you know, when we're doing certain functions, or like when we were doing the reunion episode. You know, I saw him then, and it was great. Every time, whenever we see each other, it's like it was yesterday. But the 5 of us guys, you know, we're like brothers. We always will be. We shared something very special, and we're still very close.
¿Cómo fue ser parte del video musical del 2007, Sweep the Leg?
It was a good time. You know, that was probably one of the first times we'd all kind of been together, you know, kind of doing something since Karate Kid 2, and all being together, you know, in a sense, reviving our roles. And so that was a blast, but we never knew that then, obviously, that something like Cobra Kai would come along and be as successful as it is. You know, it's literally like the continuum of the success over 36 years. You know, it's rare.
Bueno, ahora yo quiero saber cómo fue, cómo se enteró que iba a ser Jimmy de vuelta para Cobra Kai, temporada 2, y si, qué pensaba, en qué iba a andar Jimmy todos esos años después.
I mean, I knew that they had started making the series, and then I was hearing that they were going to be bringing us back, and then I had a phone call with some of the executive producers. And they're like, hey, we're bringing you back. We're going to give you a lot more lines than you had in the movie. I was like, yes, okay. Tengo más líneas, gracias a Dios. You know, so I had heard it was going to happen. And of course, we all flew to Atlanta. It was amazing to be on set with each other again. I'm sure you guys remember the bar fight.
Yeah, and the camping scene.
You know, we're all sitting there around this table, all sharing beers, what looks like beers, and we're all looking at each other, and it's like, wow, you know, it's like we all look a little bit different, but everything is still the same. And in terms of Jimmy, you know, I never knew really what direction they were going to take Jimmy until I spoke with them, and they said, hey, okay, so this is the deal. And I think it makes sense, too, because, you know, Jimmy was the wannabe. He was the nice guy. He was just the one that wanted to kind of, you know, be a part of something and be with the cool guys. So they said, we're going to make him married, and he's going to have 2 guys. So I don't know if you remember the hospital scene when I walk in and with the flowers and I say, you know, Jenny and the kids send their love. They're immediately telling the audience, okay, he's married now. He has 2 children.
They're painting the whole picture.
That's why in the bar fight, when the guy hits me, and I looked at my hands like, wow, I still have it.
The karate is still here.
It's still here. It's because that's something that he hasn't been a part of. It's something he's been away from for so long. And it was like, oh, wow, okay, I got it. Boom, you know. Sorry.
It was a very emotional reunion, like in fiction.
It was incredibly emotional. It was incredibly emotional. Especially at the end, and I don't like to necessarily give things away in case there's anybody here who hasn't seen it, which I don't know how, maybe if they're fans of Karate Kid, how they haven't seen it. But that was how it was so easy for us also to be emotional in that last scene, in that last moment. It was just the magnitude of everything all coming together and all of us being there and actually imagining if something like this were to happen to one of us, which unfortunately, actually, it did a year later, you know?
Pero antes de salir de Karate Kid, también quiero hacerle una pregunta. Nosotros los que vemos cine de todas las épocas, 80, 90, 2000, siempre cuando están involucrados los jóvenes vemos esa pandillita de chicos malos que agarran al más débil y le pegan, que le tiran el almuerzo. Siempre tenemos esa imagen de las bandas que abusan de los chicos en todas las películas. Quería saber, si bien hay bullying en todos lados, qué tan real son esas situaciones en las secundarias de los Estados Unidos, si sucede realmente o es un poco un invento de la televisión.
You know, I think that in all schools throughout the years, you know, for kids going to school, I think that bullying has been a part of bowling has been a part of human existence for forever. You know, there's always been you know, if you watch movies in the 50s or 60s, you see, you know, bullying. You saw it in the movie Grease, there's bullying. You know, there's bullying is just something that exists. You know, me being in high school, when I went to high school here in La Cañada, California, you know, I went to an all-boy Catholic high school. There was a lot of bullying, you know. You know, and there's varying degrees, you know, like you said, you know, messing with somebody's lunch or whatever. But I remember always dealing with bullying when I was in grammar school. I remember dealing with bullying when I was in high school. It's just, unfortunately, it's a part of life. It's people trying to find their way within themselves. And, you know, that's something, I guess, that makes them feel better. So, it's just, it's common in life, and I think it's something that's commonly portrayed in films.
Yo quería preguntar, después de que él terminó de hacer el Karate Kid, hizo una serie de ABC por mucho tiempo que se llamaba Head of Class. Quería preguntarle cómo fue ese cambio de ser el chico malo a hacer comedia.
It was a big change for me. You know, I'd never done comedy before, and I didn't think I was funny. In fact, which was probably one of the stupidest things an actor can do, is I think I walked up to one of the producers, executive producers, after like the 5th or 6th episode of Head of the Class, and I said, "Why did you guys hire me? I don't think I'm that funny." Just like I was trying to talk myself out of a job, you know. They just said, honestly, we just think you're great. And you're going to play, you're going to play the straight guy in the classroom. And whatever you do, you're doing great. You know, they kind of portrayed me as the naive Republican. And it was, you know, and I think I really learned a lot about comedy doing that series.
Hizo voces de dibujitos para The Papi y otras series. ¿Y cuán diferente era eso a live action? Y si todavía hace voces animadas. So you did.
I'm not working in voiceover as much. I coach on a lot of TV shows, so sometimes they'll ask me to do voiceovers for the show or whatever. Voiceover is so different than actually acting on camera, and a lot of it is because with voiceover, you know, you have to almost there's a lot of reaction sounds and certain things you have to do to really give the image as to what's happening. You know, the size and the and just all the certain reaction noises and certain things that really paint the picture for the audience, because the only thing they can do is listen. So, and then on top of that, you know, learning how to play with certain voices. I learned how to do baby crying doing voiceover work, and I did baby crying in a lot of shows.
Una de mis series favoritas de los 80 era El Lobo del Aire, o Airwolf, y estuvo en un episodio. Yo tengo que preguntar si se pudo subir al helicóptero o verlo de cerca, por lo menos. So,
I got to see the chopper up close. Yes.
Right.
But unfortunately, because of aseguranza, you cannot ride in the chopper.
Por seguro no
puedo estar en la chopper. No. You know, so I couldn't ride in it, but I got to see it. And of course, you know, I got to do scenes with Jan Michael Vincent, which was incredible, especially some of those jail scenes. Some of the best scenes I ever had as an actor myself were like the jail scene that I have with Jan Michael Vincent, where he gets himself arrested so that he can be in the jail with me and figure out a way for us to escape, you know, to get out. So that was amazing.
Yo le quiero preguntar si vamos a, ¿qué piensa él? Obviamente hay mucho hermetismo con respecto a esto. Si piensa que vamos a volver a ver a los originales Cobra Kai en un futuro en la serie.
The CS original guys again?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
you know, we saw Pastor Bobby in season 3. So you saw Ron, and you know, I'm really hoping. I would love to do it again. And that's all I can say. You know, I would love to do it again. And I can definitely see lots of different ways they could bring us back. I mean, because there's so much going on with the show. There's so much going on with the show that hey, they could bring us back and have something against Kreese. You know, there's no telling which way we could join forces or come back in each other's lives to, you know, have support or so we'll see. You know, it would certainly be exciting.
Can we get it at Jamie Family Sitcom? Can we get a Jamie Family Sitcom with the kids and the wife?
A family sitcom?
For Jamie, yeah.
Oh, sure, why not?
Yo le voy a preguntar un poquito sobre su trabajo como coach, que es lo que ha estado más abocado estos días.
I can't get the cell phones out of their hands.
It's right, no les pueden sacar los celulares.
Todo el tiempo ellos están con el cell phone en las manos, todo el tiempo, you know. Cuando ellos están tratando a aprender las líneas por el show, ellos están con el teléfono en las manos, you know. It's really difficult. A lot of times I have to say, pay attention. You know, it's just a different time. I feel like kids are growing up at a much faster rate. Some of it is social media. Some of it is just the way life is. Life is moving faster. You know, kids are the same, and yet kids are different. With these times, they're moving much faster. Like I said, they have social media. There's all this importance that is put on social media. And that's a whole nother story in itself, you know.
Ahora le voy a preguntar algo más sobre esa parte del coaching, y es que uno de sus estudiantes, uno de sus alumnos por más tiempo fue Zendaya, con la que trabajó por más de una década, y la podemos ver hoy en día en Spider-Man, muy pronto en Dune, que a mí me encanta el libro. ¿Cómo fue verla crecer a una estrella tan importante?
Yeah, I'm so proud of Zendaya and everything that she's accomplished. You know, ever since I've known Zendaya, she's been her own girl. She's very true to herself. She has a huge heart, but she's incredibly intelligent. You know, she's kind of a powerhouse. It's pretty amazing to have a young woman who looks the way she does. She is so incredibly smart in terms of the choices that she makes. You know, and even more so after KC Undercover, things like, you know, Spider-Man, Dune, Euphoria, to have, you know, just to know exactly what she wants and where she's going, but then to also have such an amazing heart and be so outspoken about certain, you know, issues and things. I'm just incredibly proud of her and her success. And, you know, the girl has gone to the top in 11 years.
¿Quieres preguntar algo más?
No, vamos a agradecer en español. Queremos agradecerte por tu tiempo, fue un verdadero honor que te hayas tomado este tiempo para conversar con nosotros. La gente, por lo que vemos, te quiere un montón y te sigue recordando por todo lo que has hecho.
Muchísimas gracias. La gente te recuerda mucho. You're being really remembered here. A lot of people were commenting, and we're very thankful to have you here with us today.
Well, thank you guys. Gracias a todos. Muchas gracias por, you know, por todo. And it's just been a pleasure to be with you guys. And I really appreciate, you know, all of the fans and all of the listeners and all of the support that we've had throughout the years. It's been incredible. And hopefully we'll have the same conversation 5 years from now or 10 years from now. And who knows, maybe more will be evolved. But I see the listeners, I see the questions. I love you guys back. And I saw somebody here, they asked me if I love Queen, the band Queen. Who doesn't love Queen?
Sure.
Come on. Famous songs, and Freddie Mercury was an amazing singer. So, yeah, once again, I love you guys, and you guys, thank you for the interview. You know, a veces cuando estás hablando español, su español está muy rápido. And so sometimes I'm totally able to follow you guys, and then sometimes then you start to lose me, you know?
Yeah, we also have a different accent to what you might be used to listening back there in California, right?
No, yeah, you know, es cuando a veces cuando estás hablando español,
muy
estás
rápido.
cortando sus palabras, you know, corta las palabras y you know, estás hablando muy rápido. A veces puedo entender y a veces no puedo entender. You know, yo puedo hablar rápido porque yo sé qué estoy diciendo, you know. Pero cuando necesito escuchar es diferente.
You can watch the other interviews we've done with translation, so you can get the dual language.
Hey, estoy muy feliz que estás aquí.
Nosotros muy felices también. Dice que
muchas gracias, Tony. Nos vemos en la temporada 3 de Cobra.
Que tengas un buen día. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Que pase.
Chao.